IT&E Life in Motion. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedito. Always open, always local.
This was like probably the worst case of abuse we had seen.
Ahead on primetime, they lived in deplorable conditions. Tonight, a closer look at some of the mess H-2B workers had to endure. Plus, excitement today as the former president of the United States surprises many during a quick pit stop to the island. And going to college at no cost, Isabaza details a new program aimed at doing just that.
Hafa and good evening.
For years, he shortchanged hundreds of workers, some owed as much as $10,000.
Those same workers subject to deplorable living conditions nearly a decade in the making. It's now case closed against Stephen Wang, general manager of Hua Sheng International Group Corporation Limited.
If a picture says 1,000 words, then these photos clearly depict deplorable housing conditions. No toilets, no mattresses, tin roofing, no windows or doors, and extension cords left and right. For over 100 H-2B workers employed by Hua Sheng International Group Corporation Limited, this was home. According to Department of Labor's Alien Processing and Certification Division Administrator Greg Massey, this is just one example of the dishonest labor practices of Stephen Wang, also known as Shui Cheng Wang. In federal court this week, Wang was sentenced to 9.5 years jail time in order to pay $1.6 million in restitution to his former workers. Shortly after sentencing, Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood asked to see photos of the secret barracks, which is located along Wustig Road in Jigo. Disgusted, she called it slavery. Since 2007, Wang's company brought in some of the largest numbers of Chinese workers. His deceptive practices, however, didn't go unnoticed. Massey says the red flags were undeniable.
We started investigating and found out that he was actually falsifying, there's an exit clearance that you have to send to us whenever a worker is going to leave. So we found out he was falsifying that. Found the airline tickets that were fake. He basically went and created his own fake, e-tickets.
That's on top of shortchanging his workers and then loaning them to other contractors.
We were finding his workers all over the place, so we found out that he was renting his workers to other contractors.
Wang's stiff sentence will hopefully set an example for others.
This is an example of the system working, and we hope to get that message out. Although this was a horrible thing that happened, we were able to really catch it, and work together between local and federal agencies, and it could have been a lot worse.
Wang's case comes to a close as Guam continues to struggle with H-2B denials. According to Massey, Guam's H-2 worker numbers are down to 110. That's compared to the typical 1,600 workers we're used to. In a month's time, he expects the count to dwindle to the 80s as more H-2 workers are scheduled to leave. The business community was recently surveyed on the effects of the H-2B denial rate. Those survey results will be released shortly. Massey expects the survey to show higher construction costs and possibly higher rental rates.
71-year-old SNJC is the latest victim to file suit against the church. When he was a teen attending the Chalampago Church, SNJC alleges he was sexually molested and raped by Father Antonio Cruz, who is now deceased. During the sexual acts, the priest reportedly stated, quote, "Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you," and called the boy Mangi, which means good in Chamorro. SNJC is suing for $5 million, although his attorney David Lujan previously stated he was in settlement talks with Hope and Healing Guam and would file a motion to stay or suspend the cases in federal court. He tells KUAM today, quote, "I haven't seen their insurance policies," end quote. Lujan says he anticipates up to 6 more filings next week. SNJC marks the 79th victim to file suit. Jury selection is nearly complete in the money laundering case against Mark Smith and co-defendant Glenn Wong. This is according to defense attorney David Lujan. Since trial is expected to run 4 to 6 week, trial was set for September 11th. Smith was Gura legal counsel when he allegedly profited from the Section 8 program. Court documents state he did this by transferring his rental properties to Wong, who would move the money back to him.
More details pouring out from former GPD officer Mark Torrey Jr.'s case in a 100-page filing that came in the day before sentencing. The prosecution included details from an interview they did with an officer, Tim Flores, just this past Monday. The report states that in 2012, Flores went to the Torrey's home in Jigo so he and Torrey could compare firearms. Both had been drinking beer that day. At one point, Flores says he removed the magazine and pulled the trigger. The gun went off, the bullet causing permanent damage to his thumb. He also lost his right index finger. Now, also in the filing was dozens of letters to the judge requesting Torrey get the max punishment. Torrey Jr. was sentenced to 8 years in prison for the 2015 shooting death of fellow officer Albert Piolo, which occurred at the Torrey's residence as well. Well, both sides rested. It was a short first day in the demotion appeal hearing for former GPD Colonel Mark Charfris. After opening arguments Thursday night, the Civil Service Commission denied the government from bringing Charfris up as its first witness, saying the procedure is that the employee goes last.
It's a strategic and tactical reason and a decision that I have made as an attorney to determine how best to present the case on behalf of the government. If you say that I cannot call the employee first, you are denying the government its ability to present the case as it deems appropriate.
Charfris' attorney Randy Cunliffe rested as well. The commission is expected to have a ruling on his demotion by July 5th. The adverse action came after he was caught on police body cam footage yelling at junior officers responding to a report of fireworks in Agate last Christmas Eve. Meantime, a pre-hearing conference for the termination appeal is set for August 22nd.
A settlement has been reached. Both parties involved in former GPD officer Manuel Perez's demotion appeal case announced that during Thursday's Civil Service Commission hearing. Details of the settlement have not yet been released. Perez's appeal surrounds his demotion to Police Officer 1 earlier this year after he continuously showed up late for work. He now has a second appeal pending after he was fired from the force. As we reported, he was dismissed after he pleaded guilty to hindering apprehension and official misconduct charges. The case involved his wife, where authorities found drugs in their home. Perez's last appeal states he suffered multiple adverse actions for the same events and that his firing was in violation of the law, unfair and overly harsh.
5 years later and still no resolution in the 2012 Crown Bakery kidnapping and rape. In court today, convicted rapist Ray Charles Tatautau previously entered a plea agreement, but whether or not he fully cooperated with the government will be up for debate next Friday during a combined evidentiary and sentencing hearing. Chief Prosecutor Phil Tydinko.
Our position is that he did not fully cooperate, truthfully so, and that'll be our position.
KUAM files show victim Monique Baza agreed to the conditions in Tatautau's plea deal in order to spare her and her family a lengthy criminal trial. Tydinko admits, however, the case has been dragged out.
We always want to resolve things. Justice delayed, is not good for both parties, for both the defendant as well as for the victims.
Tatautau faces anywhere from 15 years to life in jail. Friday's hearing is scheduled for 1 p.m. before Judge Anita Sokola.
Guam police put a stop to one man's botched construction business after he allegedly took thousands of dollars from customers and then would disappear without even completing the job. The incident happened at least 7 times between 2014 and 2017. Christopher Datu Manalo is charged with 6 counts of theft by deception as a second-degree felony, theft by deception as a third-degree felony, and forgery. The amount the suspect allegedly stole totaled at more than $164,000.
What is the real reason Senator Mike Nicholas is stepping down from chairing the legislature's Committee on Rules? That very question had many talking today.
Valerie Maige has the latest, as the issue still leaves many of Nicholas's colleagues scratching their heads.
I have accomplished my goals as your chairman of Committee on Rules. And so with that, having accomplished those goals, I think it is prudent to know when to pass the torch.
24 hours later and still no sign of when Senator Mike Nicholas will be leaving his seat as the chair of the legislature's Committee on Rules. His Facebook page today stated, quote, "No, I am not sick. Everyone in the family is okay. Thank you, Lord. And no one is under investigation," end quote. Nicholas's announcement on Thursday left the legislative body speechless for some time until Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi objected, asking for clarification as to whether or not he was resigning. Nicholas firmly stated he was simply passing the torch. Terlahi adding San Nicolas's announcement was out of order unless there was a vacancy.
The senator then opened up discussions about nominating vice chairman of the committee, Senator Talina Nelson. However, Senator Addis says those decisions are solely at the discretion of the speaker.
It's really up to the speaker to decide whether he wants to reorganize and then, distribute out those responsibilities.
Legislative Majority Whip Senator Tom Addis says San Nicolas could very well be passing the torch to focus on these other duties. He adds he's never seen this happen in the 9 terms that he's served.
I think Senator San Nicolas has done a good job of serving as the Committee on Rules chairman. And I'm disappointed that he is stepping down from that responsibility because he's started a good thing, but that needs to be nurtured and cultivated. And who best to do that than the person who basically planted those seeds.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Valerie Maige.
Just before news time, the governor's office says it's confident this will work itself out. Quote, "It's important to focus on moving forward with the agenda of the people," end quote. Excitement for many who had a chance to meet with former President Barack Obama. KUAM was able to catch a glimpse of his jet at a Teton hangar on Friday afternoon. While it was only a short refueling stop here in the territory, Obama did take some time to take a couple of selfies with staffers at Aviation Concepts and Skydive Guam.
And just a few short steps away from you as well, huh, Chris?
Yes. I was
just
so
missed
close.
him.
Would have been the best day ever.
Would have been. A quick note to all of you waiting for tax refunds. Adelup confirms $3 million will be mailed out. They hope to get done with everyone who filed by February 6th next week.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need. It's a beautiful day. Wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, health care that's always there for you.
Celebrate more data on the ITV Family Share Plan. Get the amazing Samsung Galaxy S8 and an S7 for just $198 when you bundle your mobile plans on a share plan.
Drive and discover today at Cars Plus in Mighty. Voted Guam's best dealership, there's no better time to drive home a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram from Cars Plus. Like a rugged Jeep Wrangler 4x4 of the decade. Save up to $4,500 off. Or save $8,000 off a Jeep Cherokee. How about a new Ram 1500 Crew Cab? Voted Guam's best truck 2 years in a row. Right now, save up to $8,500 off. Drive and discover today at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Chuck E. Cheese's Guam is not all fun and games. Our pizza is delicious with the freshest toppings, oven-baked to order. Try the fresh salad bar, sandwiches, and don't forget our mouth-watering wings. Come and eat at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Connect with KUAM News. Find us on your favorite social media platform. Follow us and stay in the know with Guam's news leader.
With the cost of tuition climbing year after year, the idea of going to college may seem out of reach for some.
But a new free community college concept being pushed by GCC aims to make higher education more accessible and even free to high school students. Isabaza has more on the proposed middle college concept.
Imagine getting your associate's degree and not having to pay a single cent. That's the idea being pushed by the Guam Community College. The middle college concept would allow high school students to receive both their diplomas and associate's degrees by the time they graduate from high school. Students would also have the opportunity to get a certificate degree, and all before they reach the age of 19. President Mary Okada says GCC already allows public school students to graduate with upwards of 15 free college credits through existing partnerships they have with the Guam DOE.
There is one student from George Washington that graduated with a certificate of mastery, but also took his English class during the summer, got that college credit. So he is a student that upon graduation now has 18 college credits. So we know it can work.
In addition to giving students a head start on their post-secondary education, the proposed program could save them thousands in tuition.
Imagine what the financial savings is for that parent.
Superintendent John Fernandez expressed interest in the program and has been meeting with Okada over the past couple months.
I'll be putting together a small task force, a working group from DOE side to help answer some of the basic logistical questions and curriculum questions in tandem with, I hope, a team on GCC side.
Okada says GCC is working through the infrastructure now to see how existing concepts can be integrated and what additional resources may be needed. She's confident the program will be viable with community support. As far as what programs may be offered, she says the answer will be based on economics.
We know that IT is moving fast, it moves quickly, there's jobs people are looking to employ. And so that might be something that we start with.
Both she and Fernandez say a pilot middle college program could start as soon as school year 2018-2019. They hope to work on ways to make the concept viable for the island's school system. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Isa Baza.
Thanks, Isa. With rainy season on the horizon, Phase 2 of the Tumon flood mitigation project is expected to start by next week. The work will include construction of stone water inlets on San Vitores Road, construction of trench drains up Marine Corps Drive, and cleaning of the Vegeta Ponding Basin. As for Phase 3 of the project, Gita Real Property Division Manager Larry Tove says a final plan has yet to be approved.
We're still trying to determine
In 1944, war survivor Ed Perez brought his grandchildren to today's screening.
So that they would know about some of the legacies that they probably were partly involved because of their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents. And I was born here in Ghana, and that was before the Japanese occupation, during the Japanese occupation, and afterwards.
Perez encourages others to watch the film that airs again on Saturday at the museum indoor theater beginning at 11 a.m.
Over 70 years, 86-year-old Carmen Iglesias Alconaba and 80-year-old Isabel Iglesias Manabusan received their honorary high school diplomas from the Guam Department of Education. Both survived the horrors of the Japanese occupation of Guam. They were just 10 and 3 years old at the time of the invasion, with Alconaba recalling having to work in the field and sleep beside dead bodies on her long walk from Northwest Field to Menengan and Nimitz Hill. The honorary high school diploma program started in 2005 and recognizes those who survived the war but were unable to complete their education as a result.
They lead the charge for our #1 industry, and today Senators Regine Biscoli and Talina Nelson presented a resolution to the Guam Visitors Bureau for its significant and continued contributions to Guam's tourism industry. GVB was also honored for receiving the President's E Award for Export Service back in May. The award is the highest recognition any U.S. entity can receive for making a significant contribution to the expansion of U.S. exports.
Police officers receiving special recognition. GPD officer Kurt Sanchez, who was injured during the high-speed chase and shootout that ended with the suspect Stephen Seagraves dead, is honored at the Guam Congress building today. His brother, Carl Sanchez, was there on his behalf.
I know my brother is really honored for
this award. Unfortunately, he's still on medical leave, and he should be back in duty next month.
Police Officer 2 David Elliott, who is the 2017 Police Officer of the Year, was also recognized today.
Service, courage, and sacrifice, the words we often think when referring to our service members.
And tonight we hear about one man's struggle to live proud while at the same time serving our country.
Air Force Captain Jason Gordon thinks back to the time he first signed up for the military.
There were definite times that I was trying to realize what in the world did I get myself into.
He's been on Guam since last September with Anderson Air Force Base's 36th Medical Operations Squadron. But Jason says his fight started years ago when he was only in 5th grade.
I realized from a very young age that I didn't go towards the standard or the typical role that I was and my family wanted for me.
A challenge that he faced during his early military career, even before Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed.
Most importantly, I knew what was going to make me happy, and that was to be who I was and be who I was born to be.
And then he had no choice but to keep his work and personal life separated.
I just kind of fell into the melting pot and thrived, and just the struggles were more like isolation sometimes. People were able to come into work, talk about, hey, so-and-so, I did this with my wife, or I did this with my spouse. Yeah. And so now that we can openly talk about it, the struggle really is over for me, internally.
But today, Jason is living proud.
I'm married now. My husband is stationed in Korea. He's in the Army, and so we make it work. His name is Carl Garman, and we met at a while back. We've been married for over a year.
And on top of serving in the military, he's doing whatever he can to give back.
I do provide some support to some families that may either have a difficult illness going on that they can't cope with, and just provide whatever resources that we have that I'm able to share, and just give back to the community that way. When you see their faces and you see the impact that maybe something that you've done or an organization has done, it's priceless. You can never put a price tag or label it in a certain way other than it just makes you feel good.
A feeling of happiness and proof that he's more than just the man you see in uniform.
Sports is next, but first, your weekend weather.
What can I say? My family was tired of seeing red from internet data caps. We switched to GTA and life is good again. Sure, it took a bit of time for some of us to adjust to our newfound internet freedom.
Don't turn off the show. How does it end?
Relax, honey. The data limits are gone. You can watch the whole show now.
But we're all happy with the change, and I think it's even earned me some cool points.
You rock, Mom.
That's right. It's getting lit up in here. How about that?
Okay. So I need to finish this homework now.
Okay, I'm done. My son, though, he's in the midst of a serious rebellion. Rebelling against an alien invasion, that is. Oh, yeah.
Free yourself. Switch to GTA Home Internet today. Truly unlimited with no data caps or additional usage fees.
The Down Syndrome Association of Guam exists to support families of individuals with Down syndrome. We're a group of parents who have children with Down syndrome and know the joys and challenges of raising them. For more information about the health, development, and education of a child or adult with Down syndrome, please contact Vicky Areola at 472-6114.
At KFC, we choose to make spicy, crispy chicken sandwiches. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. we choose not only to launch KFC's new Zinger Sandwich in a $5 fill-up, but to take it to space. Will it be easy? No. Will it be hard? Yes. We've already covered that. But when we succeed, we will lick our fingers good! Space sandwich! Yeah! Try the Zinger Sandwich before it goes to space.
Hey, I thought you were choosing the flute.
Everyone's doing flute.
Buick now has an SUV for that.
Where's your brother?
Hey, Mom, it's a tuba.
Buick Enclave, one of 3 luxury SUVs from the new Buick.
See your Buick dealer and get over $6,000 total value on select 2017 Buick Enclave leather vehicles in stock. Visit AutoSpot Buick today.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
For day, Guam, it's your boy Chris Barnett with sports, proudly brought to you by Triple J. Friday business, woohoo! You know how we do. Every Friday, we kick it off with our Dow Rentone Athlete of the Week. Dave Delgado standing by at Dow Rentone, a Monkeytown debit.
We're here at Dow Rentone, Mingila, for our Dow Rentone Athlete of the Week. Today we have Carlson Gracie, Guam Academy Jiu-Jitsu player Anthony Cruz, and here to present him with a check is Francine. Francine?
Congratulations on winning Athlete of the Week. Who would you like to present this check to?
I'm presenting my check to the Special Olympic Committee on Guam, and the reason why I chose this foundation is because one of the main contributors to the academy, his name is Joe Leon Guerrero. His 2 sons have autism, and he's very prominent in the Special Olympic Committee program, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to help with this foundation.
You've been in the game for about 7 years now, training over at Carlson Gracie, doing a lot of competitions locally, 6 total Marianas Open gold medals, and competing in 2 submit events, winning your first, drawing your second. How has it been competing here locally?
I really like competing on Guam because the level is only getting better. Everyone's training really hard. I remember my first Marianas, it was a small tournament. Every year the jiu-jitsu on Guam is progressing, so I really like competing back home and being in front of the home crowd.
Competing in submission only, what's the preparation like getting ready for a competition like that?
My preparation for tournament, whenever my mentality I fight is to go for the finish. So submit was no different, but when training for submit, I focus definitely on my conditioning because it's a 20-minute fight, and you never know how long it's going to go. So I really focus on going for the finish in the submit events.
Coming home from taking part in the Worlds in Long Beach, California, winning 4 fights, but then losing your 5th, what was the scene like out there with all those big-name competitors?
To me, I don't really think about the big names. I just focus on myself, on my jiu-jitsu and my game and what I can do best. My first 4 fights went really well. In my 5th fight, I gave my best. So I never feel like I leave anything on the mat. I give everything I have out there. So every time I leave the mats, I always know I gave my best, and that's what matters.
Of course, getting that black belt down the road and possibly giving back to the kids.
I hope to give back to the academy at Carlson first and foremost, but down the road I do want to open up my own academy and help spread my jiu-jitsu. But for now, my goals and ambitions are as a competitor and winning the world championships next year.
Stay tuned to our next Dow Rentone Athlete of the Week.
KUAM Sports Athlete of the Week is brought to you by
22-year-old Soichiro Moritani from Tokyo, Japan, earned his highest world ranking to date, number 770, earlier this week while winning matches in the 2017 Kings Guam Futures, an ITF Pro Circuit event presented by Docomo Pacific and the Hilton. In round 2 of the singles main draw Thursday, Moritani played through his second 3-setter in as many days to stop Korea Republic's Kwon Oh-hee 6-2, 2-6, 6-3. Tennis fans in Guam might remember Moritani from 2013 when the then 18-year-old made headlines after defeating former world number 12 Dominic Herbati, a special guest in the tournament that year, to win his first ever pro point. In other singles matches of the day, number 1, Hiroyasu Ihara moves to the singles quarterfinals with a 6-3, 6-2 win over wildcard Alex Hunt of New Zealand. And number 3, Ito defeated Masaki Osafune 6-2, 6-4. And number 8, Moon Joo-hae of Korea Republic defeated Keisuke Numajiri of Japan 6-3, 6-3. All right, hey, Guam Friday, business! Woohoo! Have a great weekend. You keep on shining. Guausi Chris. Adios!
It's Nissan's Stay Fit sales event.
Fitness is important. You Nissan service pros are like trainers for my car's fitness.
Now check out this heart racing deal. Frontier King Cab starts at $146 per pay period, no money down. Frontier King Cab at $146 per pay period, no money down. Your new car fit kit includes free service, free car washes, and your own personal fitness watch.
Keeping it fit and clean with free car washes leaves me more time to focus on keeping myself fit.
The Stay Fit sales event. Find out more at Nissan Upper Tumon or online at NissanGuam.com.
Guam's hottest barbecue party returns this summer. Pleasure Island's 5th annual barbecue block party is on July 1st from 5:30 to 10 p.m. in Tumon. Celebrate the love of barbecue with your family and friends while you enjoy the best barbecue on island. Plus, watch the island's ultimate Grill Masters barbecue throwdown with live entertainment, hot diggity hot dog eating contest, and more. Admission is free. This sizzling fun event is presented by the Guam Barbecue Block Party is a GVB signature event.
You can't choose who sits next to you, but at least